Now, I want to speak to Clause 4, Part 310B, Roman numeral I, and I want to talk to those sections A and B. And I want to talk about some new questions which haven't been covered yet. And that is that, did the Minister consider, when deciding on the objective of this bill, and the objective of this bill in the Regulatory Impact Statement, page 2, the objectives of this proposal are to confirm that a client is still eligible and receiving the correct rate of assistance at least once every 52 weeks. And my question to the Minister, which I'm seeking engagement with, is did she consider the advice, the recommendations from the Welfare Expert Advisory Group, which was established under the previous government and was chaired by Professor Cindy Kero, who we know in this House has an amazing reputation. And the recommendations there, they had thousands of submissions from people with lived experience and years of robust analysis. And the recommendation told us clearly, and I quote here from section 11 of that report, to remove the requirement to reapply for the benefit every 52 weeks and the reasoning was simple for why they did this requirement adds unnecessary stress, disproportionately harms disabled people and creates more work for no good reason. So did the Minister consider this advice from the Welfare Expert Advisory Group? Because it might help us to understand the objective of this bill and understand it in a context of the people that it will affect the most, who are going to be the people who are already doing it tough, and disabled people, older people, Māori, Pacific people. And so I'm really seeking engagement with the Minister about, did she consider the Welfare Expert Advisory Group's advice when deciding on the objective of this bill? Because if we do look at Clause 4, 310B, Part 1A and B, it is clearly going directly against the advice that was given by that Welfare Advisory Group. So this is a new question. It is asking about the objective of this bill and why, and in this Clause 4, and asking, has the Minister taken into consideration that Welfare Expert Advisory Group, particularly because they are representing the voices of people who would have wanted to have their say, to scrutinise this bill during a select committee process, which the government has decided to lock those people out of. And actually we, as opposition members, would have been able to scrutinise and ask officials these questions. So if, just to recap, could the Minister please explain to us how she came to the decision to put in that review of 52 weeks, which goes against the advice of the Welfare Expert Advisory Group.
Mr Chair.
Mariameno Kapi-Kingi.
Tēnā koe te minita. I want to go to Clause 4, what seems quite a few of us are, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions that stem from the sections 310A through to sections 310C. I register that there's some of your Minister's responses that I'm repeating myself, and it's not the first time I've said it. I'm taking this process as a trust and verify process. I don't accept it just because it's said, and we are entitled in this particular process, because we don't have another, it seems, to require the verification of the things that are said. So in that vein, can the Minister ensure the House that this list of specified benefits, and when I was reading the benefits, Kahurangi wa tātou whānau, when it has words like emergency and supplementary and all of those types of words which tell us, because the English words, right, they tell us that things are not good, things are hard and things are difficult for families. And okay, in this budget, let's just have a good crack and see whether they are as hard and as difficult as you think they are, because if we're okay, we just don't see it. So, question, if this list of specified benefits will not be quietly expanded in future to include benefits that are primarily accessed by Māori, thereby disproportionately targeting Māori. Section 310B, how will the Minister ensure that these mandatory reviews do not add stress or instability for people in precarious or seasonal work arrangements? And this is based on, obviously, my work in and around MSD, particularly in the family harm situation and in suicide prevention. Rolling into an MSD office, even with some of my mates working there, it's horrible, it's hard, it's the expectations on you are, well, they roll in as if, look, we don't expect you to tell the truth, so we're going to test you and push you until you do. Those environments, that kind of environment, even with some well-intentioned people, it's hard, it's difficult. And does this help towards that? No. So the assurance that there will not be further instability, because we know who's under that boot, and they are Māori. Section 310C, what protections are in place to prevent benefit suspensions for those who face legitimate barriers to compliance? If you lived in Hokianga, in Te Kao, in Tairāwhiti, in those areas, your phone and your connections so up there, they just don't work. So you think you're going to go, oh yes, on your phone as if it's that easy. It is not that easy. Some are. Some of the digital, some of the digital natives, they're great. But some of the digital immigrants, which are my age, by the way, and others, it ain't going to happen. It is not that easy to assume that it is foolish and harmful. What oversight exists, I repeat that, to ensure that, in case I was reading the face right, exists to ensure that MSD does not arbitrarily use the power. Agencies often use power because they like it, because it works for them, and they do it just quite naturally, unfortunately. Power to demand information in a specified manner and time frame. I get the words, it's all very clinical, technical, and not so the types of training and expertise that you're going to need to run this kind of line, Minister. I have no confidence that it's going to go well for many of our families, and I bid or seek that you look closer, really, to what's been imposed on our people. Yes, unfortunately. Thank you.
I can't mean as much.
Oh, I wanted to raise.
So Louise has just given up answering questions.
Yes, it's just given up. So I just linked the report that people can read because for whatever reason Louise didn't want to engage with that. In that recommendation it does say get rid of the 52-week reapplyment requirements. Wow, that actually rhymed. But yes, have a read through that. Lot of good data in that. And she's just like, wow, I'm just dodging everything like Neo from the Matrix.
Yeah,